Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy, and today's video is going to be something a little different, you know. It's not going to be listed in any of my playlists. It's not the mixer or what's the damage or Chazzy this or Chazzy that. You know, everything's Chazzy now on this channel, but it's not going to be any of that. It's just going to be a regular simple video giving you guys what I consider to be a very interesting rundown of my musical tastes this year, you know. So those of you who use Spotify, you should know that they have done something recently called 2020 Wrapped, which is where they take everything that you've listened to this year regarding music and they put it together in one really big compilation, you know. And I have been sharing this on different branches of social media like Twitter and Instagram and even Facebook, you know. I have been sharing it everywhere, you know, because I really like it and I really enjoyed looking at what I've listened to. I like studying my own statistics, you know, and I was actually really surprised by some of them, you know, like some really did catch me off guard, you know. And before the year is over, I wanted to record a short little video showing a little bit about showing you guys a little bit of what mine was, you know, my 2020 Wrapped. And after I'm done, after you watch the video, feel free to leave in the comments your 2020 Wrapped, you know, with the hashtag, so I can actually know what you're talking about, you know. And also because it might actually it might kind of I don't know, kind of help Spotify see more of the users on YouTube what they're talking about in relation to this thing. I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I'm actually lost. What am I saying? Okay, so let's go back a little bit. If you guys want to share your 2020 Wrapped, just leave a comment below in this video with the hashtag 2020 Wrapped so I can see what you have been listening to. And who knows, maybe we're gonna have a few similar tastes, you know? But let's get right into it. The first thing I want to share with you guys is exactly how ample and how varied my musical tastes was this year in Spotify, because throughout the year I have explored an astounding 129 different genres of music. That is crazy. I had no idea that that was like, it was so weird because when I saw that, I was like, I really listened to 129 different genres, because like in my head, it feels like all I've listened to this year was heavy metal and K-pop, you know, which were the two dominating genres throughout the entire year, you know. My top 5 genres that I listened to this year, it might not be surprising that the first one is actually K-pop. You know, I think that's pretty obvious. You guys should know at this point that I really like K-pop. You know, it's really, it's my favorite musical genre right now. You know, it's all I listen to. I've been recording multiple videos talking about that, you know, like this one, for example, which is that I can't stop listening to K-pop. And that is the genre that I most listened to this year. Coming in second place is alternative metal. You know, I listen to a lot of my favorite bands, you know, and that's kind of like the subgenre of metal that I enjoy the most. You know, I like heavy metal, you know, even a little bit of metalcore depending on the band, but alternative is always going to be right up there with what I listen to the most. And in third place is rock. You know, rock music, I cannot get enough of. It is really addictive. I really love rock and roll. You know, everything from the classics to the more modern bands, you know, that I really like Linkin Park and Slipknot, you know. Those are my 2 favorite bands right now. And I mean, like, I actually did a video very recently talking about, not really too recently, but some time ago. I'm gonna leave a link to it up here, which is my top 10 favorite bands of all time, you know, and you guys are really gonna enjoy seeing that list if you're a fan of this musical genre. Coming in fourth is something that was actually surprising because I can't remember if I listened to it too much this year, but there was a period where I was binge listening to this genre, reggaeton, which in case you guys don't know is Latin American music. You know, it's kind of like pop and reggae, not really reggae, but it's more like the kind of it's pretty much the mainstream music over in here in Latin America, you know, like from Cuba, Puerto Rico, Colombia. It's a mixture of pop and hip hop and rap, you know. It's actually really enjoyable. Back in middle school and high school, I actually listened to a lot of this, you know. I had a lot of Latina girls on my radar, you know, so I was always listening to the music that they did so I could have something to relate to them, you know. I really used to enjoy reggaeton a lot when I was a teenager, and I still kind of do. It was nice to go back and go on like a little nostalgia trip listening to the songs that I used to back when I was a kid, you know, and some new albums by artists that I like Rakim Kenway, Wisin Yandel, Daddy Yankee, you know, and in general, it was really nice to go back to all of that, you know, and remember my roots. Now, in fifth place, the top 5 genres that I most listen to is something very interesting, which is anime. Yeah, that's it, anime, and it's pretty much like it's kind of like the theme songs to certain animes, like Japanese songs, you know, that I really couldn't get enough of. I don't watch anime, I'm not a big fan. I'm going to explain why in a future video, but I really don't like anime a lot, but I do like J-pop, Japanese pop music in general, you know, so I can really jam to a lot of that, you know, like Utada Hikaru, who's my favorite Japanese singer. I recorded a video talking about her once, and listening to those sort of like anime soundtracks really made me feel good, you know, and I don't know, it just makes me feel happy and upbeat, you know, not like these douchebag motorcycle bros driving by in every video that I record. So there was a little bit of anime soundtrack also mixed in with my music listening, and I really liked it a lot. I think it was really interesting to kind of get into something a little bit different, you know. The song that I most listened to this entire year is Come See Me by the artist AOA, which is a K-pop girl group, and it is really something. It's something, guys. I don't know how to describe why exactly this song is so addictive to me, you know, because it's in Korean. I have no idea what the girls are even saying, but I love it so much. I don't know if it's the rhythm or the beat, you know, or just the background music. I don't know, something about this, the chorus, you know, that every time the chorus drops, you know, it just hits me like a ton of bricks. I want to get up and dance and run around and jump like a crazy man, you know, and I listened to it no more and no less than 40 times. That's right, I have listened to this one song 40 times this year, you know, and I mean, and that's like 40 times at the time of counting this statistic, you know. At the time that I analyzed my 2020 Wrapped on Spotify, I had listened to it 40 times. Since then, I probably listened to it at least another dozen times or so, you know. But my God, you know, and I don't know what they're even talking about, you know, but and they're not even like my favorite girl group. I don't even know if there are any songs of theirs that I like too much, you know, but Come See Me is the quintessential K-pop song, you know. I actually made myself a personalized K-pop playlist, you know, and that song is at the very top, you know, it's the first one. And I really don't know how to explain or describe it, you know, but I don't know, guys. I just really like this song a lot, and I definitely recommend it for you guys, you know, if you have never gotten into it. The next statistic is something that is really cool. It makes me feel like a pioneer. There was a song by a band called Cryoshell, you know, a band that isn't really too active today, you know, but they really represented a good part of my adolescency when there was a song of theirs playing in this Bionicle commercial that I spent years trying to find and finally did. It's called Creeping in My Soul, and they released a song called Dive some time ago, you know, I forgot exactly when, April, it was back in April, and I was one of the people who listened to the songs before it hit 50,000 streams, you know, so I'm a pioneer, baby. I am a Spotify pioneer, that's right. So yeah, and I was one of the people who listened to it, you know, before that happened, and it made me feel good, you know. It's not exactly a big deal, you know, I'm not trying to make myself look like the most awesome guy in the world, but it is still pretty cool, you know. It is satisfying to kind of to be there in the minority, you know, discovering something before it actually gets out there to the general public, you know. So I'm a pretty big fan of Cryoshell, even though I only like one album of theirs, you know, which is the one that I forgot what it's called, but it's the album where the song Creeping in My Soul is in, you know, so I can listen to it a lot, and I'm surprised it didn't even make the list, you know, because I jammed to that album a lot, but, you know, just semantics and whatnot, you know. But anyway, let's continue. So here's the thing. The decade that I most listened to was the 2000s, which does make sense. I mean, I am a 90s kid, so the music that most attracts me is from the year 2000 onward, you know. I jammed to so many albums, so many artists, you know. And the one that I most listened to, the one song in particular that I heard from the 2000s was Dead Memories by the band Slipknot, which is my favorite heavy metal band. You guys should know that. And I mean, out of all of the songs, that one was the one that I most heard, you know, which is pretty crazy. I can imagine that the album that I most jammed to was probably that one from the 2000s, you know, All Hope Is Gone. Kind of an unpopular opinion, it is my favorite Slipknot album. I don't know why or how, I can't really describe it. I just really like it a lot, you know. And some of the members of the band don't even like this album. Like Sean Crahan, who's Clown, he considers it to be the worst Slipknot album they've ever done. So I don't know, semantics, opinions, you know, but it's my favorite Slipknot album, and I am not surprised at all that it is the one that I most listened to out of the entire period of the 2000s, you know. So, you know, once a maggot, always a maggot, you know, so that's just how it is, baby. Okay, we're getting close to the end now. We're getting close to the end, okay? So the next one is actually very impressive, you know, and it's something that actually wowed me quite a bit, you know. The artist that I most listened to throughout the entire year of 2020 is BOA Kwan. You know, she is a South Korean singer who actually is like one of the pioneers of the K-pop genre that we know and love today, you know, and she is amazingly talented because she sings in multiple languages. She speaks and sings in Korean, Japanese, Chinese, and English. You know, she speaks all of those languages fluently. She is an amazing dancer. She has a lot of really cool choreographed music videos. To me, she is the queen of Asian music. You know, she is the queen of South Korea. I love her so much, to the point that I actually heard her music a total of 1,683 minutes. Whoa. Like when I saw that statistic on Spotify, I was like, oh my god, like what happened? How did that, like I did listen to her a lot this year, you know, but I mean, geez, man, over 1,600 minutes. Wow. And actually, throughout the entire year, I was actually, out of all the people who listened to her, I was in her top 0.5%. You know, of all the people who listened to her, I was in the 0.5% margin of her listeners, you know. Not entirely too sure what that means, but I mean, it's a small number, but it sounds pretty big given the context that it's in, so blah. So, and I also listened to every single one of her albums because at the very beginning of 2020, I actually made a very bad prediction, you know. I said that 2020 was going to be a good year. Kind of wasn't, but because all of BOA's albums were released on Spotify, even her Korean albums that originally weren't even available, so it was really, really cool. I listened to all of her albums, her entire discography throughout the year, a few albums more than others, you know, multiple times. So, you know, after all this time, she is still my #1. To those of you who aren't a fan of BOA, it's one of the songs that she released early in her career that made her get really popular, which is #1, where she says, "You're still my #1." So yeah, that's kind of how it is, you know. BOA is amazing. I did record a video talking about just her some time ago, you know, you guys can go watch that. And in general, it is really, really, really awesome, the influence that this singer specifically has had on me, you know. And I'm not surprised that she's the artist who I most listen to throughout the year. But anyway, so moving on, we're starting to get towards the end here. My top 5 artists ever, the entire year of 2020. I actually listened to a total of 267 different artists throughout the year. So close to 300. I could have just pushed it a little more to 300. That would have been awesome, you know, round it off to 300. But anyway, so here's the thing. Out of all of those different artists, 5 of them rose above the rest. You know, 5 of them were the ones who I most listened to, and I'm not surprised at all at how the list came out, you know. #1 is, of course, like I just said, BOA Kwan. She was the one who I most listened to. You guys saw the statistic now, all those minutes that I jammed to her music. #2 is the heavy metal band Trivium, who I really, really do like a lot. You know, those guys are awesome. I love their albums. I actually became even more of a fan of theirs this year than previous years that I listened to them, you know. #3, not surprisingly, Slipknot. You know, I also listened to a lot of Slipknot throughout the year. It was really, really, I don't know, Slipknot is the kind of band that really makes me want to pound through my difficult times, you know. And some time ago I talked about their new album. Another video up here. Some time ago I talked about their new album. We Are Not Your Kind. I reviewed that a little bit too. And right after that one, I talked about Corey Taylor. So if you watch one, you can kind of get into the other one, you know. So yeah. #4 is unsurprisingly Stone Sour, Corey Taylor's other project. You know, I listened to both Slipknot and Stone Sour, a very healthy balance of both throughout the year, you know, whenever I wanted to feel something a little heavier or softer. So that was kind of like my mixture, you know. And last but not least, in my top 5 is the heavy metal band As I Lay Dying. You know, they released a new album this year, either this year or the beginning of last year. I'm pretty sure it was this year though. I think it was Burn to Emerge. No, sorry. Shaped by Fire, right? I think that was the name of the album, you know. If it's not, I'll just correct it here. But yeah, As I Lay Dying, I kind of went back and listened to their whole discography, you know, because there's a history behind them. The vocalist Tim Lambesis was arrested, you know, for trying to kill his wife, that whole debacle, you know. There was a lot of drama, so the band split. When he got out of prison, they came back together, you know, and they recorded this album, which I think was really, really cool. It was very heavy metal powerhouse, you know, kind of like burning to emerge from the ashes of everything that you destroyed before. And there was a song called, I think it's Blinded. Just blindness, where he talks about being blinded by your own pain and losing yourself in your heartache, you know, but you can always move on and get better. It's a very powerful song. It's probably my favorite heavy metal song. There are people sending me messages here. What's wrong? What's up? Okay, it's because it's my birthday today, so people are sending me a bunch of messages. My Wi-Fi is on. So yeah, and As I Lay Dying. you know, that is the quintessential, you know, my top 5 Spotify artists this year. And now we get to the big one. I saved this one for the end of the video. I saved the best for last, and it is quite impressive. It is a doozy. I was very, very shocked when I saw this, you know, because it shows how much of a music consumer that I am. All, in total, throughout this entire year, I have listened to 14,985 minutes of music on Spotify. And the majority of that was K-pop. My God, man, that is insane. Guys, that is really, it's pretty crazy because, I mean, you don't ever stop to think about how many minutes you listen to music, you know? And to think that the song that I most listened to was Come See Me by AOA. That's like probably like a 3-minute song or so, you know? So I don't even know how many minutes of that one song specifically I listened to, but that is quite a lot, guys, you know? And I mean, there's a friend of mine who her 2020 rap was actually crazy because she listened to 22,000 minutes of just pop music, you know. So imagine her entire Spotify rap, how many minutes she listened to. So, and I go overboard with Spotify. I literally listen to it every single day. When I go to work, you know, I have to listen to music. If I'm here in my house doing chores, cleaning around the house, or doing the dishes, I'm listening to music or watching a YouTube video. So I'm always consuming Spotify. When I'm playing video games, I like to listen to Spotify depending on the game. So I'm always listening to Spotify. I always have it active to some degree, you know. So I'm actually not surprised that I listen to this many minutes, you know, but still, it's pretty crazy. And that's it, guys. That's it. I wanted to share a little bit of this with you guys, you know, my 2020 Wrapped. You know, if you guys want to share your 2020 Wrap with me, just leave it in the comments below. You know, let's see if we can compare our musical tastes. And I'm coming up on my final video for this channel this year. You know, my next one is already going to be my 300th video special. I have something really cool in store for you guys, you know. And today is my birthday. The time of recording this video, December 18th, it's my birthday, but by the time this video is uploaded, I don't know, probably next week, you know, or tomorrow, the 19th, we'll see. But well, to any of you who have sent me birthday messages outside of YouTube, thank you so much for remembering. It means a lot to me, and I hope you guys are doing okay. You know, I hope you're taking care of yourselves, you know, in this what I hope is the final stretch of this this pandemic. You know, 2020 is going to be over soon, and then we can all just chill for a bit, you know. And I hope you guys are going to be doing okay in 2021. I'm going to be taking a small break in it. I'm going to explain in my next video, you know. But I really wanted to record this one before the year was over to show you guys how much I love Spotify and how much I consume it, you know. I hope you guys are doing okay and you're enjoying my videos, you know. After I hit 300, I'm going to take a small break, and I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back next month, you know, in the new year in January, hitting the ground running. All right. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.